Glad to have you on the program, everyone. I am Nifemi Oguntoye, and we have update on the political crisis in Rivers State. Without debate on the floor of the House and just 24 hours after presenting the 800 billion naira 2024 budget proposal to a four-member House of Assembly, Governor Sim Fubara has signed the state's 2024 budget into law. Earlier today, the Attorney General of the state and Commissioner for Justice Zacchaeus Adangor, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, resigned, citing personal principles. His resignation was communicated in a letter dated 14th November 2023 and addressed to Governor Fubara. If you think his exit is connected to the political crisis in the state, he disagrees. He says it was based on personal principles. And just before news of this development, 26 lawmakers loyal to Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, continued legislative activities as they convened for plenary in the auditorium of the House of Assembly quarters. They adopted a resolution condemning the demolition of the state government, describing it as illegal. The lawmakers, led by Martin Zamuwale, also called on the federal government as well as security agencies and the international community to intervene.
I'm convinced that the motive of this demolition is to pave way for the governor to abuse reason to have a meeting with his friend in the government house and make it impossible for proper investigation of the burning of the Hallowed Chamber and prevention of the legitimate sitting of this house.
From this voting, the House has thereby resolved as follows. 1. To condemn the brazen and unlawful and heartless demolition of the Rivers State House Assembly complex by Sim Fubara, Governor of Rivers State. 2. To draw the attention of the federal government of Nigeria, the Inspector General of Police, the international community, and particularly the United Nations, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and other well-known democracies to the constant attack by the governor on the legislature of Rivers State.
As events continue to unfold, the federal government has distanced itself from the ongoing crisis involving the former governor, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, his stalwarts, and Governor Sim Fubara. Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, insists the federal government has no hand in the crisis. He also dismissed allegations by leader of the Niger Delta Volunteer Force, Asari Dokubo, that President Bola Tinubu is ignoring the festering crisis in Rivers State. You can join the conversation right now on X, formerly Twitter. Remember to use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days and tag at TVC News NG as well as at Nifemi Oguntoye. We probably will take your comments and your questions as we go on. Human rights activist Inebehe Effiong and public affairs analyst Nelson Ekujimi join me now live on the program. Gentlemen, welcome. There are rivers of issues pouring out from the South state known for cutting political controversies of this nature. But this perhaps has taken such an unprecedented dramatic turn. I'd like us to begin with the resignation of the Attorney General of the Federation, or rather of the state, and Commissioner for Justice in Rivers. The resignation letter is dated 14th November. That's some 2 weeks after the initial attempt to impeach the governor. Mr. Effiong, are you surprised it's being made public 1 month after? What do you think is playing out here?
Well, what is playing out is that the politics of Rivers State is assuming a more precarious dimension. It shouldn't surprise anyone because clearly there are two sides to this. You have people within the Rivers State government that are loyal to Mr. Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister and immediate past governor of Rivers State. My suspicion is that the Attorney General and others who will follow are loyal to him and have gotten to a point that everyone has to answer his father's name, if I should put it that way. So those who are resigning are basically putting it on record where they stand, notwithstanding that officially they may say they are resigning for principles. I don't know what those principles are, or for personal reasons. I don't know what the personal reasons are. But one can reasonably deduce or infer that the resignation of the Attorney General and others that we are going to see in the coming days is because they have taken side with the Minister of the FCT and not with the governor. Again, nobody should be surprised because Mr. Wike himself has gone on record to state that nobody who is occupying a political position, elective position in Rivers State, purchased a form. He said he bought the forms for every one of them, from Fubara to members of the House of Assembly to the members of the National Assembly. I will not be surprised if he also nominated most of the commissioners and also even determined the local government chairman and so on. So one would expect that those who are loyal to him will take sides with him. But for me, this is very unfortunate what is going on, because in the end, like they say, when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffer. The people of Rivers State are the ones who will bear the brunt of this needless political rigmarole.
Well, they are already bearing the brunt already when you count the cost of how much has been lost in the past day, particularly the demolition of the State House of Assembly. But I'll bring that conversation back to you. Let's bring in Mr. Ekujimi into the mix. Do you agree with the lawyer? Is it possible that the Commissioner for Justice was asked to resign? You know, they say you need the Attorney General to complete an impeachment process. Some say this looks like Governor Fubara wielding out the wicked loyalists left in his government.
Well, thank you very much for having me. With regards to that question, I'm not in a position to know what would have prompted the Attorney General Minister for Justice to have resigned. It is common knowledge that the report we have out there is that he resigned based on principles. And I think he's in a better position to explain to Nigerians or whoever desires to inquire from him why he has resigned. It is not out of place that when there's trouble like this between gladiators, that there will be fall guys, there will be people who will not want to be part, of the crisis and would rather want to stay for a stand. So it might not be out of place that the man resigned out of his own position, but if anybody has, facts to buttress the reason for his resignation, I think, we'll be better availed of that, and it will help give us a clear insight into the issues at stake.
Within 24 hours, we've seen Governor Fubara's budget passed and signed into law. Without debates, without committee reviews, what do you make of this unprecedented move?
Well, like you have rightly said, it is unprecedented. And if you ask me, that is an act of illegality. It shows the disdain and the disrespect that Governor Fubara has for our democracy. And I feel assaulted and insulted as a Nigerian by those 4 or 5 legislators who start, for Mr. Fubara, to present, maybe speech, because I don't think he presented any budget before them. Because under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the State House of Assembly can only speak when it forms the quorum. And the quorum of that house is supposed to be 1/3 of the members of the house. And I'm sure if you look at the mathematics, the State House of Assembly has 32 members. 4 will never make the quorum. Even in our social club, in our family garden, before we embark on any meeting, we must always form a quorum. So I wonder any legislator what is onion who would debate such, a highly divided system. And for Mr. Fubara, he is delegating the office of the governor of Rivers. And it is very, very unfortunate that he has gone the path of illegality, in carrying out his functions. And for me, this is a wake-up call to the people of Rivers. That is challenge. No matter what is going on, the rule of law must be adhered. So it is not proper for Governor Fubara to just maybe Governor Fubara also considered himself to be a member of the House of Assembly. And he made up the 11 that statutory required to be.
All right, Mr. Ekujimi, let me ask Mr. Effiong. He's a lawyer. Do you agree with Mr. Ekujimi that this is an act of illegality, having the budget passed within 24 hours and presenting it to a House made up of only 4 lawmakers?
Well, contrary to what Nelson has said, the matter is not so simplistic. I do agree that a quorum needs to be formed, and by virtue of Section 96 of the Constitution, the quorum of the House of Assembly is 1/3 of all the members. But the question a lawyer will want to ask or answer is, what is the quorum of the Rivers State House of Assembly as at today? In the light of the vacancy created or arising from the defection of 25, I think we are now hearing 25 members of the Assembly who, by virtue of Section 109 of the Constitution, have lost their seats automatically. And that is what the Supreme Court had said, that it is automatic. In the case of Abegunde and Ondo State House of Assembly in 2015, when the then Mr. Abegunde, who was elected on the platform of the Labour Party to represent the Akure South and North Federal Constituency, defected from the Labour Party to the then Action Congress of Nigeria. The Supreme Court said that once you have defected, and that defection is not justifiable, it's not due to a division in the party or factionalization as defined by the Supreme Court, which is that it has to be at the national level, and that division must be one that the party is incapable of existing.
Mr. Effiong,
Is incapable of functioning.
who defines, just a minute, who defines this division? Because the lawmakers are making reference to, you know, the debate as regards the office of the National Secretariat of that party.
No, the argument is simply not tenable. If you look at Section 200...
No. You're not hearing the question. I'm saying who determines whether it is tenable or not? Is it a public affairs analyst or the court?
No, that's what I'm saying, that it is not a subject of dispute or controversy because the Supreme Court has already defined what division is. And I'm saying that in defining whether there is division in a party, I've heard the argument about national secretary. But when you look at Section 222 of the Constitution, the Supreme Court said that insofar as the political party has certified those requirements under Section 222, that you cannot say that there is division. One, that the party has the national secretariat in Abuja.
All right.
Two, that the party has national officers registered with INEC. Three, that party's membership is open to Nigerians, irrespective of sex, irrespective of, you know, their ethnicity and religion.
I hear you, Mr. Effiong. Because we have a lot to talk about, and, you know, I'm not a lawyer myself, we're going to allow, you know, the legal practitioners to debate that. But as a lawyer yourself, do you think that it is possible to have done due diligence for an 800 billion naira budget to have been passed in less than 1 day?
No, that is a different issue entirely, and I don't subscribe to that, because if you look at the process for passage of bills, you need to have a first reading, as stated in the standing orders of the House. There has to be a first reading, which is that bill, the short title and the long title of the bill, the long title is simply read. No debate is taken. You have a second reading where the bill is now debated. You now have what is called the committee stage. You now have the report stage. It goes to third reading, and then it is passed. Now, can all these legislative processes and steps have taken place under 24 hours? I doubt. I was at the National Assembly yesterday to appear before one of the committees.
Why do you think they are in a rush? Because you seem to have a case that these four lawmakers can sit on this document. Why do you think they seem to be in a haste to have this document passed?
Exactly what they have to tell us. I don't know how a budget can be passed under 24 hours. How did they scrutinize it? But the point I don't want us to lose sight of is the fact that on the basis of the existing order, the interim order of the High Court of Rivers State, that has recognized Mr. Edison Eyi as the Speaker of the Assembly, you cannot say that that decision or that order is not in existence. Until that order is vacated, he remains the Speaker.
Exactly the point I'm also making, Mr. Effiong, that order, that interim order is valid till the 21st day of December. So they have more than 24 hours to actually have gone through that document.